when people hear finance, immediately straitjacket, boring, complicated, nauseating comes to mind. That's one reason. The second reason I think is that a lot of times people have intertwined their net worth with their self-worth. So when having to deal with financial issues, when having to talk about finances or think about them, if you have this concept that you are what you have, or your material possessions or your bank account says something about who you are, and you're not happy with it, then obviously it is not something that you would rush to pay attention to. So I think the underlining factor, or the underlining reason why, I think at the base of it all, apart from the complexity and the fact that it is seen as boring and all of that, I think we as a society have somehow intertwined these two concepts, net worth and self-worth, and made them into one. And so that when you address the issue of your net worth, when you're looking at it from a practical reasons, people don't necessarily see the practical aspect of it. Rather, they see what it implies about them and who they are and where they want to go. And it brings up a lot of kind of self-identity and emotional issues that really does not have to be in the picture. So the first thing I would say in getting people to understand that finance, one, is not scary or complicated. It's a very practical thing that you need and you have to learn how to manage. And the earlier you do it, the better off you'll be. Because, I mean, I'm not being dramatic when I say without finance, your life is pretty much going to be in ruins, right? I'm not being dramatic saying that it's one of the most important things in life. Not because in and of itself, on a practical level, on a basic level where we need to meet our basic needs. We need food, clothing, and shelter, and for all these things we need money. And so you would think that people would pay more attention to how they acquire it, and when they do acquire it, how they distribute it, how they spend it, how they allocate it, so that it can be used efficiently to support the lifestyle that they want. But unfortunately, a lot of times finance is not seen from just a practical and as a matter of fact thing to do. Rather, it's seen, there's a whole set of other identity issues and emotions that get wrapped around in it. And because of that, it's exhausting to have to look at it, and it's daunting to deal with it because it brings up other issues that really have nothing to do with finance, but have somehow found themselves in that arena. So for me, I think the first thing, there are two parts to this. Well, two parts to this. The first is, people have to understand finance is not difficult. And forget about what you see and what you hear, all the smoke and mirror that's out there. It is not a difficult subject. It can get complicated and it can get intricate at times, but at its core, it's not difficult. I mean, if you want to get rich, it's a simple formula. Spend less than you earn. Invest it at a good rate for a long time, it'll grow. And that's as simple as it gets, and that's as basic as it gets. You know, how you do it, when you do it, and the strategies, that can get a little bit intense. And actually, that's kind of fun when you have to think about the best way to strategize. But first, we have to make people understand that finance is not scary and it's not difficult. It's very doable. And the second thing is that we have to pull apart that net worth and self-worth. We need people to understand what you have is not who you are, and it's not necessarily a reflection. If you're not earning a lot, it doesn't mean that you're less of a person or you're less valuable or you don't matter. So I think if we can get those two things across to people and get people engaged in the conversation from those aspects, like understanding, hey, you're not what you are on your bank account, that doesn't reflect who you are, and that, you know what, finance is not as difficult as it is made out to be or it is assumed to be. So yeah, those are the two core things I think we need to work on